Yeah, like 8% on a house is an investment. 8% on a Dodge Ram, or a big gas guzzling Lincoln at $100,000 is not an investment.
Sweet TaraLyons.
Hi, Nelson.
Hello, Tara. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'll just introduce myself to everybody. I'm Tara Lyons of Team TaraLyons with Royal LePage, and we work out of the Belleville and Quinte area. So we hit Prince Edward County and CFB Trenton, and we do all the surrounding towns. So I want to welcome our guest today, Nelson Conroy. Do you want to say what area you do?
Yeah, good morning. I'm with Royal LePage TriLand, and we're based in head office London. We have an office here in St. Thomas where I live, and Alicia and I cover 2 counties, which is Elgin and Middlesex County. 17 and a half years for me, and Alicia going on 3. So we're semi-partners. So that's what we're doing. Anyway, thank you for the invitation.
Oh,
Thank you for the invite.
To chat with you. I outrank you a little bit. I've been around for 23 years in this business.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that goes back.
We have a team of 5 here in the Belleville area, and anyway, we just wanted to bring some information out to the public. Yep. And we're going to hit a few topics that I think will be of interest to people, and we thought it would be really great. Nelson's in our area are kind of similar on the opposite ends of the GTA, but we have kind of similar areas. So it's going to be interesting to see what information comes out of that. Yeah, one of the biggest things that people are asking right now is what's going on with pricing. What's happening in your area?
We are actually in St. Thomas at 565, 320, and that's actually up 1.5% over 2021. So, but in our listings have virtually gone from 45 to 138. I mean, that's a lot of property, but we're still 21 days on market and 2.5 months of inventory. But our volume's down 30%. That's the kicker. The volume is down considerably. So, and then London is virtually the same, but their volume in London for August was down 41%.
Wow.
But we're still up a bit, up about 1.5% in London overall. And listings have really gone up in London. There's a lot more inventory now.
That's what we're finding here as well. We have a lot more inventory on the market, and our sales volume is about where we were in 2021. So and we had about a 20% decrease just since August, which is just crazy. However, when you look overall, our average, if we look at our peak, we had the peak market here. It's interesting. A lot of places were February. Our peak market here in Belleville, I'm just talking Belleville, was in April. And our average house price was $700,000. And now we're at $519,000. So that's a massive decrease.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. But the positive part is we were around 345 back in January of 2021. So that's incredible still for our pricing in our area.
We're virtually the same, because I mentioned 885 was the average in London in February. That was the peak. And then we were 725 or 715, whatever here. And now we've regressed down to that. And then the listings start coming on. But when I say 21 days, it seems odd because I'm on St. Thomas more than ever, and I'm seeing stuff at 42 days and stuff that I think is really well priced.
Yes.
And they're running into, 40 days. A few I saw selling for 6 and 8 days, but most are beyond the 21.
Yeah.
They're really beyond that.
In Belleville, we're still on average about 26 days. But when we look at our overall market, the area that we capture, we went from on an average of 25 days in August. And we're at about 52.
Oh, man.
Through September.
That's eons.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? And that's an average.
That's an average, which means people are on double that.
Can you imagine when you get that house that's unique, that doesn't suit everyone? I mean, you might be 90 to 120 days for that because it doesn't suit every buyer. It might be just a slim market.
And that's why it's important, to talk to a professional in this industry, because the media out there has so much negative information. When you look at it and you start going, wait a minute, though, we're more than double of what we were a year and a half ago. That's pretty phenomenal. And yet people feel that sense of loss from either February or, April. And you've only lost it if you were planning on selling back then. And
exactly. I know. Yeah, exactly. that was the case, but we didn't think it would come along so quick. But we were warned about it when Steve Koresh started talking about it. Tara, do you remember back in January, February? And Darren German was doing the same thing. 15 offers.
Feeling it.
Yeah.
Right? So these
15
people are
offers.
in the West Coast, and they usually feel it out there before we feel it here. It's really interesting to try and align the seller's frame of reference right now, because they really feel a sense of loss when, because of where we were in February, when they talk to their neighbors and they talk to people that they know that sold at these high prices. So now they feel this sense of loss, and it's readjusting them and reminding them. And I just had this the other day with somebody where they bought 5 years ago, and they have more than doubled the value of their home in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
When was the last time we ever did that? It usually is
it's not
10-year cycle.
not. Yeah.
So when I started to readjust his thinking on that, he, it's that sense of, but my neighbor got this much back in February, March, and it's like, but you weren't planning on selling then, and now you are. So let's look at what your gain is, not what your feeling of loss that you didn't lose because you didn't put it over there.
Yeah.
Part of one of the things people need to keep in mind is, people are always having babies. People are always getting married. People are downsizing. People are upsizing. People are unfortunately getting divorced, but they're getting married. They're changing jobs. These things never change in any market. So we're going to have that activity. It's just going to take a little bit longer now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was saying to people. There's people being transferred here to London, people being transferred to Belleville, people and seniors that are downsizing. They want to look at a condo, they want to go to apartment. So still that activity is happening out there. Some of the first-time buyers are certainly had to readjust their budget because the interest rates changed for them, for qualifications. Yes. There's no doubt about that. But
let's talk about that, interest rates, because they're still going to be on the rise.
I know they are. They got to try to get this thing, definitely under control. But I mean, you and I started at the time when I can't even think. I'll have to go back when the OMAC. We had an OMAC value. Do you have OMAC in your area? It's a big group of mortgage company, a private one. But we used to have an in-house gentleman. I should go back and look at my old offers to see what people paid in 2005.
Well,
what was the deal? Do you remember the number? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember, because our first house we purchased in 97, and we were around the 8%. Right. And then when we were remortgaging about 3 years later, it was around a 10%. And that was carrying through into the beginning of the 2000s. And then it started to come down.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the issue. We're still at amazing interest rates right now.
No kidding.
The last time we had this kind of downward market was back in the 90s. They were in double digits, like high double digit, right? 19, 20, 21%. The fact that we're even hovering around that 5% right now, even if we go up to 8, that's still really cheap money.
I know it is.
And under 2.
Yeah. Like 8% on a house is an investment. 8% on a Dodge Ram, or a big gas guzzling Lincoln at $100,000 is not an investment. I mean, listings, we had a few, as I mentioned, cancel and, just give up looking, but it's enabled me to spend a lot of time to work on my business as opposed to being in it, which is a real change for me. And I've got so many new things on the go right now, and we'll see where it takes us. How about you? Have you developed any new things, you and Tom? Are you doing anything new in particular?
You know what? That's what we're doing as well. It's that time where we get to reflect and look at our whole business and what can we do to improve for our sellers and our buyers.
Yep.
And of course, we have some fun events coming up. I won't announce them here because they're in the works that we do for our clients.
Yes.
And we have always had some really fun events, and the fact that we're able to get back out with them and not just doing virtually or popping by and not actually getting to see them, we're going to be able to see our clients again. So we're pretty excited about that. Yeah,
we have a couple really cool events going on right now. We just introduced it. We're doing a clothing drive because, as you know, we're involved with the shelters. As a Royal LePage company. So we're just getting that started. I had a friend of mine from the post office call. He's got 40 coats. Now they're going to take the logos off, but I mean, that's ideal for the shelter, all nice winter coats. Yeah. So Alicia and I are doing that to meet more people. And then we wanted to do a self-defense for women. We wanted to do that because I'm aligned with the Aikido dojo. And so we're doing that in November. So we've got a state-of-the-art Y. MCA here. So I reached out to the general manager. She's just dealing with insurance issues, you know, making sure. But I told her, no, look, like, we're not going to have people from the audience and bring them up and ask them to break boards or anything like that. Come on. So anyway, we've got, but it just opens, she might align with us, you know, and we got the 4,000 members that might be involved, you know, so we'll be all dressed up with our Royal LePage. So we don't know where that's going to take us, but that's a totally different type of event that we've ever done before. And then come Christmas time, we're working on some things too. So, and we're not very many people do this. There's people that have just thrown up their hands right now and thinking they're afraid to make phone calls, they're afraid to reach out and to offer updates and just ask people, how's this affecting you with these rates? Are you concerned about your equity? You know, the one question survey, are your plans? What are your plans this fall or next year? None of them are doing it.
I know.
I can't.
It's pretty amazing. And, you know, we have to actually go back to what we used to do prior to COVID, right? And bring out all those strategies when we're in this downward market and bring those strategies back out. So like back in 2008 with the financial crisis around the world, right? We had to start coming up with new ideas. We do have one event. We're doing sponsoring a road rally on the 24th. Wow. We're doing that for hospice. I think a lot of us, we love giving back to the community, right? And you see realtors across the country doing that, which is just amazing. And our charities need it more than ever now. So we've got several groups, we've got up to 60 cars going out, and we've got businesses involved, and we're going to go around and raise money for hospice. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Nelson, you know what? This has been amazing. I absolutely have loved it. And I'm excited to continue doing this with other realtors across the board and across the country. But I'm so glad you were the first.
Thank you so much.